Good evening, friends, pillars, and fellow troublemakers. It's wonderful to have you all here with us tonight. Thank you for joining us once again. We're pouring Unruly Red at the bar because unruly had a nice sound to it, and words matter. So I chose a few other words that also matter to us at Public Advocates. On every issue, every question that we deal with, we begin with perception. What do you see? What is going on? Do you see a sax player or a sultry lady? Find them both? You'll find it. So envision with me now, that was a sax player and a sultry lady. Envision now a crowded bus stop in a low-income neighborhood. Do you see an unavoidable hassle or an occasion to organize for better service? And driving home, is that somebody's son in a sweatshirt with Skittles or a dangerous thief in a hoodie? Perception is the foundation for possibility and for vision. What could we see? Can you look at a class with a different, anxious, inexperienced teacher every single year, not enough textbooks, rats and falling ceiling titles, and see instead a place where every child has an opportunity to learn? Could you look at families that have never spoken to the teacher, let alone the principal, and see knowledgeable activists, on-air spokespeople for their children's futures, and our next school board leaders? That's what our education team does every day. That's what Public Advocates does. We look at what's there and we see it afresh. We listen to people and we find out what they see and what they want to do. We strip out the stereotypes and the barriers. We add in imagination and hope. To do that requires many voices, many talents and perspectives. In contemporary craft, which is what I do when I'm not doing this, we talk about the magic of the studio and its collaborative spirit. In a glass studio or a wood shop, people learn their craft together. They put in that famous 10,000 hours that moves us each from the basic skills of the novice through craftsmanship to the mastery and insight that define art. And in advocacy and law, we also see that same intergenerational transfer that leads to skill, effectiveness, and ultimately to inspiration. I stand in awe of the vision and imagination of my inspired colleagues who bring to this art of advocacy such subtlety, to the collaboration, such generosity. Thank you all to the Public Advocate staff. Like the artists we know, we share new tools and techniques, envisioning how to adapt traditional methods and new perspectives. We experiment, not with pigments and glazes, but with constitutional principles and the budget process and power dynamics. Would a press conference or a research report be a good way to highlight the failings of for-profit career schools? Can a Title VI complaint to the Federal Transit Administration recapture lost bus service in LA? Stay tuned, we'll find out. Of course, it's not just artists who thrive on collaboration and interchange. There's a new book called The Idea Factory about the glory days of Bell Labs, and it illustrates how cross-pollination among physicists and chemists and material scientists led to the semiconductor, the laser, the fiber optic cable, and many more. I see us as an idea factory too, a social lab, if you will, social change lab, where the proximity of brilliant staff and board with different specialties and experiences generates advances. Workshops like this support our people through periods of gestation, and yes, through the inevitable failed experiments too, and depressing Ninth Circuit decisions that are necessary to creative progress. And collaboration lies not just within our organization. We experience it profoundly among our coalitions, where we build understanding and raise voices for change. That collaboration is fundamental to thriving communities where good ideas and new leaders can flourish, unconstrained by old barriers and outmoded privilege. We do this for the very same reason that people do art or science, to understand and then to transform. Artists might start with a hunk of maple. Lawyers start with the stark facts of forgotten neighborhoods and struggling families. Then we collaborate to transform those facts into advocacy that will alter perception and bring about change. And in the doing, we are transformed. With art, it's often hard to choose just one beautiful piece, but we know it's good to focus. So tonight, we selected one example from many of our compelling projects to exemplify the art of advocacy. Perception. When you look at the shuttered Concord Naval Weapons Station, 5,000 acres, 5 times the size of Golden Gate Park, the largest infill development opportunity in the region, what do you see? Now, right about now, some of you very loyal attendees are thinking, is it the martinis or is she on replay? I've heard this before. And you are absolutely right, you have heard this before. For 6 years, we've been telling you about this abandoned military base that we imagined could be a thriving community. Sometimes we told you to mark steps and progress along the way, and sometimes we just told you to keep our spirits up as we were slogging through this project. But now this year, we're here to tell you about how perception and collaboration have brought us to transformation. We had a vision that led us to collaborate actively in the Community Coalition for a Sustainable Concord, CCSC, with housing, labor, faith-based, neighborhood, environmental, and smart growth organizations. Sam Tepperman-Gelfand, our project leader, and other coalition members recognized that we all wanted the same things for Concord. People listened to each other's dreams and to their questions. They changed their minds. Sam and managing attorney Richard Mark Antonio put it this way: people really came to own each other's issues. Working within a broad community coalition and with elected officials and agency staff wasn't quick and it wasn't easy. We had to alter some basic perceptions. We had to make clear that affordable housing can be attractive and good for the neighborhood, that transit is a better answer to gridlock than more roads, and that a diverse array of groups can agree on what they want. Folks developed common language and respect for each other. Remember, the word Concord means peace. Everyone worked hard, and they worked together. For example, the East Bay Housing Organization led tours for community members and public officials of existing and very appealing affordable housing. Public advocates, in turn, helped the coalition navigate the complex legal and technical issues effectively and to participate fully. Reviewing the 2,000-page environmental impact statement with the help of base closure and environmental experts from Goodwin Procter's Boston office, Sam generated the group's response and also helped coalition partners make their perspectives heard at this critical juncture. Having lawyers at the table promoted early and constructive solutions. And we noticed that decision makers tend to listen more closely when they realize that the community fully understands its legal rights. Roseanne Nieto, Concord resident and coalition leader, said, "At the end, everybody was happy with the process. But we had to be at the city council banging on the table to make it that way." And now transformation is on the horizon. On January 24, 2012, the Concord City Council unanimously approved a visionary redevelopment plan. I emphasize that because it doesn't happen that often these days. 25%, 3,000 of the new homes will be affordable to lower-income families, veterans, seniors, and teachers. There will be service-enriched housing. Thank you. That really is worth our applause. There will be service-enriched housing for families who have been homeless and for people with disabilities. 70% of the land, 3,500 acres, will remain open space and be used for parks. And clustering development around the North Concord BART station will create a transit-friendly community for 30,000 residents, 25,000 new jobs, a commitment to local hire and apprenticeship programs, and a new campus for Cal State East Bay. It's really good to be talking to an audience who really understands the power of accomplishments like that. And you also understand that a redevelopment plan is not the end of the story. Public advocates and the coalition will, of course, watchdog plan implementation. And speaking of watchdogging, literally today, we learned that the city of Pleasanton, with whom we spent several years, approved 2 transit-oriented housing developments that will provide 75 new units for the lowest income families. That achievement is part of a settlement of many years of litigation that set a new statewide zoning standard. It also makes the virtues of the Concord collaboration for everyone even more vivid. And moreover, we are applying the lessons of Concord to a great project called the 6 Big Wins for Social Equity, a network that reflects an even broader regional coalition to advance our goals of housing and transit equity, healthier communities, and greenhouse gas emission reduction throughout the Bay Area, the work of our future. So we look forward to a future Public Advocates dinner when we'll show you pictures of the Concord that we're dreaming of. We won't just see physical changes to the landscape, though. When I talked to Sam about the meaning of the art of advocacy, he wisely reminded me that the experience of art leaves you different for having seen or heard or read it. Art and advocacy the way we do it is not just a legal technique or transformation of policy. It actually changes the experience and emotions of artist and audience, advocates and community. Sam said he chose to come to Public Advocates not just because we're smart, although we are, and not just because we're working on complex issues, but we are. He wanted to be with us because of the way we work with people, the relationships that we forge, the shared visions we create with communities, and the core sense of optimism those values engender. Our advocacy, in short, is designed, and thanks to all of you, sustained, to create opportunity, transform communities, and make their voices strong and enduring. And when have we needed transformation more? I cannot celebrate our work and the work that so many of you do without expanding my field of vision to the grim circumstances around us. I see strip searches in New Jersey, voting rights impediments in Alabama and Arizona, and an assault on reproductive rights everywhere. My perception of what is fair and just, let alone constitutional, is strained beyond belief. We talk in our coalitions about respectful collaboration. I didn't think I'd, but it's really deep for all of us, isn't it? We talk about respectful collaboration while all around us, dismissive, divisive, and damaging voices grow louder and more shrill. So imagine if the people who came together to design the Concord planning process, if they were the people who were designing national health care, or if they were on the Supreme Court deciding about our health care or our tax and immigration policies. Imagine if they brought to those tasks the willingness to listen, to take the long and collective view, to champion each other's goals that the Congress and the public sadly lack. Just imagine. Thank you.